Slide 1 of 8. Preview, review, and organization of steps in the body of the demonstration or how-to speech. Regarding the steps of your process, the key to organizing them well is to do the following. Have a specific number of clearly defined steps, give the steps of the process short names that include a verb, and devote one topic in the body to each step of your process. Let's go over each of these items one at a time. First, have clearly defined steps. Break down your process into a set of clearly defined steps. You should have a specific number of steps, and if you're not sure exactly how many steps there are, then your steps are not defined clearly enough. You should be able to say, my process is X number of steps, with X being a definite number that does not change. If there are various ways to do your process depending upon the person doing it, for example, if a particular step is different for left-handed people, just tell us the most common way of doing it. In this case, based on your audience analysis, you would guess that there will probably be more right-handed people in your audience, since there are more right-handed people in the world, and you would just tell us the right-handed version of the process. If any left-handers in the audience want to know the variation for them, they can ask you in the question and answer session. The other important thing to remember with regard to having a specific number of clearly defined steps is to make sure you have at least 3 steps in your process. It is also okay to have more than 3 steps, but you should not have fewer than 3 steps. Since you'll be devoting one topic in the body to each step, as we will discuss shortly, having at least 3 of them ensures that combined with the introduction topic, which will be your first topic, and your conclusion topic, which will be your last topic, that you will have at least 5 topics total, which is the minimum number of topics you should have. Next, give each step a short name that includes a verb. Each of your steps should have a 1-word or 2-word name that includes a verb which best indicates the main action that is to be done in this step. For example, if the third step of your process is to add half a cup of water, you could name your step Add Water Half Cup. Including a verb in the name of each step is important because it keeps the audience aware that this is an active process and not just a list. Use the most descriptive term you can think of for each step. Avoid using complete sentences where possible, and keep your step names as short and to the point as possible so that they would answer the implicit question on the part of your audience, what do I do next? You can plan to elaborate on the important details regarding each step in the subtopics and sub-subtopics that you'll place underneath them in the body. Now that you have a specific number of steps and you've given each step a short name, plan to devote one topic in the body to each step. So for example, if your process is 6 steps, you should have 6 topics in the body of your speech. Of course, you will have 8 topics total when you include your introduction topic, which will be topic 1, and your conclusion topic, which will be the last topic. Make clear transitions as you move from one step to the next in the body of your speech. The more you rehearse your transitions, the smoother they will be. One good way to make a clear transition is to briefly recap the previous steps before moving into the next one. Doing so allows people who have lost their place in your presentation to get back into it. I suggest recapping at least once or twice in the body as you make transitions. Avoid a first step that lists ingredients or supplies needed for the process. This is not an active step, and it can seem like filler. When you organize the steps of your process, set as your first step the first thing to do once all the materials or ingredients have already been laid out in front of us. Regarding the preview of the steps in the introduction and the review of steps in the conclusion, you should preview and review the steps by listing them by name in the introduction and conclusion, probably as subtopics or possibly sub-subtopics depending upon your organizational structure. It's important that you not preview by simply listing ingredients or supplies needed. In fact, avoid listing ingredients at all. Lists are difficult to make interesting, and you already have a list of steps that should be the focus. An audience won't care about a list of ingredients or supplies until they are convinced that they should care about the process. So focus on the steps of the process, and instead of listing ingredients altogether, let us know about them as they come up in the process. Try to come up with a creative way to make your steps memorable for the audience. Mnemonic devices and acronyms are good ways of doing this. Anyone who has studied music has probably used the mnemonic device "Every Good Boy Does Fine" to learn the notes on the lines of a musical staff. and also use the acronym FACE, F-A-C-E, to learn the notes represented by the spaces on the staff. See if you can find a creative way to make it easier for your audience to remember your steps. A good first step towards this end is to clearly tell us how many there are and list them by name in both the introduction and the conclusion. We've covered the keys to effectively organizing your steps in the demonstration or how-to speech. Have a specific number of clearly defined steps, give the steps of the process short names that include a verb, and devote one topic in the body to each step of your process.